When you think of YOLO, generally the image that comes to mind is one of people being crazy or doing stupid things, and really not thinking about the consequence because life's too short to care. But when you think of what YOLO actually stands for, you only live once. There has to be something more than just partying and abandoning all convention. According to the Torah, YOLO isn't the picture you imagined. Like Asher had said in her speech about doing dangerous things, the Torah makes a million laws to teach us the value of life, not to throw it away. So if YOLO isn't about living life on the edge, what is it about? I think we've been missing the other half of the acronym. It can't just be you only live once. That doesn't even mean anything. It's such basic knowledge, even the kids I babysit know that. What they don't know, but will hopefully learn in the future, is the most important part of the phrase that you have to add in order to understand the real lesson. You only live once, but your actions live forever. So instead of saying YOLO, we should say YOLO, yeah. That's a big deal. We have the ability to do things that would never go away. It's pretty scary. Therefore, the actions we should do should be substantial and effective. As most of you know, Pesach passed about a week ago, and on Pesach, one of the things we do is eat mar, a bitter herb, to remind us of the bitterness of slavery that we had to go through in Egypt. If you could pick one bitter herb, what should we use?
Horseradish?
So that should be the answer, right? Because it's bitter. But the Gemara says that the best thing to use for mar is romaine lettuce. Why would this be the ideal herb? It's not even bitter. The Gemara answers, "Tcheloso rach v'sofo kasher." In the beginning it's sweet, and in its end it's bitter. Meaning when you're eating it, it seems sweet, but then it gives a better aftertaste. This teaches us a very important lesson. The worst is to look back at your life and realize, I was a slave the whole time. You may think at the time what you're doing is sweet, is good. It's only after you realize how bitter it really was. Make sure you do things that are productive and meaningful, that you know what you're doing is right. Make sure there won't be any bitter aftertaste when you look back. Instead, make decisions you're proud of. Okay, so what kinds of things can we do that are important, good, and last? The answer is in Pirkei Avot, Ethics of Our Fathers. It says that the world stands on three things: mitzvot, davening, and kindness to others. Okay, so that's what we should do. But when I read this, I was confused. These are definitely good things to do, but why these three things? Why do these specific actions hold up the entire world? They seem kind of small compared to other good deeds. As I looked more into it, I realized something. If you think about it, these three seemingly small things have the ability to inspire. Let me explain what I mean. I recently spoke to a woman by the name of Laura who told me her story about a time someone inspired her, and I'd like to share it with you. She went to Camp Simcha, a summer camp in Baltimore for daughters of Russian immigrants. Even though she was not religious, she was a naturally spiritual kid who enjoyed davening. She told me that as much as she enjoyed the prayers each morning, what really got her were the counselors. They were living, breathing symbols of Torah who were so happy and full of life. Being only 8 at the time, teenagers seemed kind of scary and unapproachable to her, except for these girls. They were so kind and knew how to engage the campers with stories and songs about Judaism. Because Laura's parents had left their anti-Semitic world and relocated to a mostly Catholic town in Maryland, she knew very little about Judaism, and the only time she got to experience it was in camp. So when summer came around, she was always eager to learn about the mitzvot and hear stories from the Torah that her counselors would tell her. A young child of Soviet immigrants needs a lot of reassurance that being Jewish isn't just, they tried to kill us, we persevered, so now let's eat. Her counselor showed her that being Jewish is so much more. When the summer was over, she said goodbye to the special Jewish bubble and went back to her not-from life, until next summer. This was really hard on her. How could she experience the holiness and specialness of the camp, and then go back to her regular life? Slowly, she began to take some things on. When she was 11, she started singing Shema and Adon Olam every morning and every night. She started keeping Shabbat in her room. She started learning the former counselor. After 4 years of doing this, she felt brave enough to tell her parents, who thought she was insane. Even though they didn't support her, it didn't bother her because she loved being a Jew. Over time, she became completely observant, not just in the summer, not just in her bedroom, but in every place she went. I'm going to quote her. She says, "I'm a visual learner. I need my time at camp to help me learn about the beauty of halachot that make Torah observance what it is. I watch my counselors daven, keep Shabbos, tend to others, rise for their parents and obey. I took mental notes, slowly learning Hilchot Shabbos by the example of the families of the counselors, who so kindly invited little Russian campers into their homes. I attribute so much of my growth to following the examples of my summer camp counselors, who should continue to get a measurable merit for inspiring fellow Jews to grow and learn more about the joy of living a life full of Torah." There are so many amazing stories like this one. Some of them may even have happened to you. How many of you have been inspired by NCSY, through a rabbi, advisor, or fellow NCSYer? I know for me, there have definitely been times I've been inspired by my friends or on a Shabbaton to do something good, because they were doing something good. By making the decision to do one of these three things, you can be the one who inspires. Who knows if by you wearing kippah in public, helping someone out, or keeping Shabbat for just an hour inspired someone to do something, who can inspire someone else to do something, who might inspire someone else to do something huge. The actions you can create have serious potential to evolve into something much more than just one person could accomplish. Remember, yes, you only live once, but your actions live forever.